I take out these rivets. So what I do with these, I'd normally drill them from behind and tap them out, but since they're broke off there, I've been hacksawing them out and just tapping them back in with punch. Like that. So I'm going to continue and I'm going to get all of them off. This was the shoe that was broken, in case anyone wasn't watching the earlier videos. The reason why it was broken was you have to file a bit of a chamfer on there, a leading edge, otherwise it catches and it just lifts and it breaks, and that's what happened this. And to be honest with you, it was never going to work anyway, because the brake rods were just too seized. That kind of crack. We'll look at our new rivets, our new brake shoe set, and sometimes we actually have to widen them holes a little bit, strangely enough. So yeah, you could go and get the angle grinder and cut these off, but we'll do it the old fashioned way, the way that's going to do the least amount of damage. So I'll come back when I have all of them out. Right, we're just down to the last one here. Bit of a workout. Right above. And the doctor asked me there, do you do any exercise? And I said no. She said, so you don't do anything at all active. I do up our vintage tractors. She said, so you don't do any exercise? I said no. But I tell you one thing, it can be a bit of a workout times there now. Anyway, that's that. So we'll get our new brake shoe set. We'll just have a feel there and see what the rivets are like going into them holes. If they're a bit too tight, we'll just give them a bit of a widening. So no, I don't do any exercise at all, but I sweat my arse off out here, so probably the same bloody thing. They fit in nice. So usually what I do, would like to do with these is just start in the middle. I suppose it's like tightening down a cylinder head at the end of the day, isn't it? And then I'll get a bolt going there, some kind. I'll tell you why I do that. You put in a rivet to hold it. What it'll do is it'll shoot out from your hammer. So find a bolt there that'll go in and put it in and just screw it up quickly. Nice thin one. It just helps keep everything in line. Oh. This will be the last one, then we do this. Just finger tight. It'll help line everything up. Just like that. Okay, so we have one in. So what I like to do is have a look at your rivet there and get a nice punch that'll fit just inside it. Put it into the vise like so. Probably see me doing this in other videos anyway if you're a super subscriber, as it should be. Or maybe you shouldn't, I don't know. Picking up bad habits. And then I just move you around to the front there. Well, there's loads of different ways of doing this. I've seen, this is the way I learned from my dad anyway. He's an old school mechanic. He learned the trade in the army, working on Mark 1 Land Rovers, Series 1 Land Rovers and all that. Bedford TK lorries with the big 6-cylinder petrol engines. And he wanted to go down good and deep into there, otherwise you'll end up seen it again before too long when it wears down to it. Sit them on, twist them around. It can be a little bit hard depending on your hammer to get in there. See if I have a better one there. The ball end is the best, but look. That's nice and neat. Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Lovely. These are rubber, so they really do get a good grip on things, but it's so important to have your seal done in your half shaft so it doesn't get wet. Okay, that's nice and neat. Lovely. Sometimes you can take a nyomp out of them there if you're not careful. Just keeping pressed down onto the punch. So your ball pen hammer is the best for this. Lovely, so I'll keep doing that. I'll come back when they're done. So after that, all I do is I clean this down because rust primer is sticky kind of stuff, and I just polish up the back of that because I want plenty of grease. Because the lock nut and bolt are going to come through there, this has got to be able to slide on them. So plenty of grease on that. So that's good. That's all ready to go. So we can start moving over here now. And start thinking about putting these brakes back on. So that doesn't necessarily need to be greased at all. Oh, what we do need to grease is this here. Once we put on the side that we've polished up. This was too tight. This top one was not good. It was never going to. So these pads here, as you can see, they have the chamfer on them there, so that should be okay. It should work. It shouldn't catch like it did with the last one and break a big lump back off it. Like. So that's okay. So we can start putting on a bit of grease there. And springs. All that jazz. Might just lower down the camera there a little bit, then I'll come back with it, Lord. Lovely. Right. The grease all there where we took off the rust primer. We'll grease this side here as well for good measure. Lovely. Let's get a rag from your mitts. Okay. Might just get the work lamp, this might light things up a little bit better. Okay. So, washer is on. Here's our lock nut. It's important that these aren't over tight. And they stop things moving. There's no grease behind this at all, so it's never going to work. And it's too tight. So we can just loosen that, leave that loose there for the time being. Okay, so we've got a blue spring, and we've got there's a red spring over here as well. Okay, so I'll get a few more tools and I'll come back. Now, so I got on this little plate here now. Make sure our rod is in. That might need a little tap in if it isn't going in enough. So let's give him a tap there, make sure he's going right in. Yeah, that's good. On with that. Retainer plate. Okay, go around to our breakthrough. Right here, make sure everything's turning okay. It's lovely, lovely and free. By God, that is beautiful. Red spring on the top because we have a leading shoe system here. So that goes in there. What I do is I get the baling twine, not the old blue stuff, the good thick and strong red stuff. And you see lads messing, looking around with screwdrivers and stuff like that. Oh, no good. Put in the big hobnail boot into it there. It's not a lot easier than messing with screwdrivers and things flying everywhere, losing an eye and all of that. Okay, another shoe. So another shoe, I'm just going to go and give that a quick, the same treatment. I'm just going to clean back the rust primer. Okay. A bit premature in that now, damn it. Might have to take that. Forgot to put the bloody second shoe on. Actually, no big deal. Oh yeah, we'll work it. That's looking good, so we'll get her to focus down where we're working. Yeah. Plenty of grease. We polished up our washer. Plenty of grease. Okay. And our lock nut should be there somewhere. There it is. Okay, on she goes. Plenty of grease on that as well. Slipping on there. So we'll get 13mm maybe, that was at 9/16. Try 13mm. Not too bad. This is our adjuster here. So nice. Didn't actually do out with this yet. Let's make sure the threads are good in there. And take out the lads if I have to and put them into the vise. By just they're lovely though. No need for that. Needs to be copper grease on one of them and normal kind of grease in the middle. think there's two ways you can go about this spring. Some of the 35s have them in the closer one. I think I put that in the wrong one there. Just get something to pull that up out of it there. And, put it in the other hole. I think these brake pads are for, we'll do 35, mass 35s as well. So we'll just put it in the other hole there, and 20s never had that. 35s with a different adjuster on them, you see. So that holds their adjuster in place there. That's grand. Need to tighten this in a bit. Put on our spring. Now this is the lower tension spring, blue one. Okay. Then you simply pull up and around, and it should come off like that. No mess with the screwdrivers. Okay, so it's starting to look like a bit of a brake system again now. So we got our 11/16 spanner, and we'll just have a look at this adjuster and make sure it's doing its thing. Lovely. So what we want at the moment is this retract the brake shoes. Make sure we're going the right way there, are we? Yeah. Put on the brake drum. But before that, now that we have all our springs on, we just want to see that we're all lining up and all of that. So that's too loose. Place in France, I believe, as well. Too loose. So make sure that's too tight. They have to return to the off. Simple as that. Fully off. Okay, that's squeaking in here, and you can get rid of that with a bit of grease, I think, usually. Obviously, you don't want to get it on the actual shoes there. Should have done this actually. I usually do. Where's the other one? There. It's just this kind of metal kind of lads there, just like studs just poking straight. Again. You'll often hear them with squeaky brakes. That's all it is. Right, well, let's try the bottom one here when we're at it. Where's our little studs there? This isn't tightening enough, so we can actually apply the grease there. Lovely, we can get our finger down behind as well. That should mean that we don't have squeaky brakes. No, of course, if that's the only thing you have to suffer, you're doing well. Okay. Oh, the wrong way around there. Probably are loosening that off a bit too much, I'd say. There, that's all we want. Rub all that grease in behind there. That spring's a bit loose now for my liking. Where's that now? It will tension up, there's no doubt about it, as we as we retract the brakes. There's no doubt about it, it will. But look, we'll see if it goes on easy enough. If the brake drum goes on easy enough. There's plenty of them springs there, so I'm just going to look for a better one of them. I think I have a load of them, just in case that's overstretched. I just like to see it keep them together. We'll just check it. We'll check it out. So that's going there. Look, we'll have it. We have every other blue spring. We don't seem to have a spare one of them. That one's shag. They're all 35. So I might just put a little bit of a bend in it there, just to get a bit more tension on it. Yes, it's not going to be set this loose, that is true. But my fear is this will bloody come off. That's my problem. That's my fear. That'll come off when we're trying to turn this. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a bend just to get a bit more tension in it. Just a tiny little bit of a bend in it. Just to give us a bit more tension when it's in this completely off position. That's better. Okay. And it's only ever going to be in this, it's probably never going to be in that position ever again, but still, we just want to make sure it goes together nice. So we give everything just a last little look over there. Make sure everything's looking good. Just make sure that's too loose. Let's give him another nip in. That feels a bit better. That gives a little adjuster. Now we're here, we'll just press the brake and see what happens here. Leading shoe here. No, that's okay. Of course, it'll work better when we tighten him out when after we have our drum on. So I get our drum. Drum was perfect inside. Perfect. Lovely and dry. This axle seal was probably just about to start leaking, but it wasn't. Move the camera because I'm struggling to get in there. So there was no grub screws in this when I got it because it was actually facing, it was on the wrong stud for it, so we can actually try and put grub screws in it. So I'll go and get two of them and see if we can manage to do that. These are not important, to be quite honest with you, because your wheel's going to be tight up against that. A lot of the time the threads of them are just too far gone. I don't have a tap for that coarse thread, so look, we'll try quickly and get them in. If they do, they do. If they don't, there's no big deal, no panic in the world. That's going in easy anyway. But the slot they put in these is so narrow. Stupid, like I might have to slot the other one there, as you can see. This one I didn't, so I don't know will we even be able to get it turned in. We'll see. We'll try it. That's going in grand and easy. So what saved that was the fact this was probably turned wrong and there's a cover on it, so it was actually stopping it getting rusty. So the secret is not to go too crazy on this. Once they're just below the surface, it'll be sound like. So that's what you want. Make sure they're below the surface there. Right. Let's put a spanner on this screwdriver. Let's give it a little nip. It is important it goes. This one's below the surface already. Well, look, we'll just give it a little nip. Okay. Right, so that's good. Things feel tight in there, and they will feel tight in there until you know yourself. Things bedding and all of that. So our side brake just needs to be adjusted so it's not sticking up too high, and our brake rods have to be adjusted as well, because it looks like it's doing way more on the other side than this side. But all in all, I'm bloody happy with that. Happy with that. So what I'll do is when I get the other brake rod off, I'll take a measurement of this, or I'll take this off as well. It only takes 2 seconds. Put them side by side and we'll get them the same length. We'll get them pulling the same, and then we'll work on our adjustments. So one thing we can do, let's see if we have brakes. Now that I think of it. So we'll slap on that and we'll slap on that. We'll get our bar, and we'll put, I was going to say, we'll put our ratchet on our brakes. We don't have them, so I'll use my foot. And we don't have any brakes, which is not surprising because it's adjusted right out, so we just wanted to test that and make sure. So then you start adjusting the brakes outwards. It's basically the same as what you, the direction it goes basically as if you're tightening. Right, it's getting tight there. So that's good. So that's what we want to see. So I think we'll back them off a bit. A half turn. Another half turn. It'll take a few spins down the road and stuff to get this right. Keep going until we can turn it. That's better, right? A little bit of rubbing there is okay. We don't want that. It will take a while. There's a tight patch on it, definitely. So what I'll do is I'll just loosen off the centralizer nut at the back and give it a jiggle around then. That centralizer nut's not playing ball, so we'll get our 17 on that. Go a little bit smaller. Wherever we left it. There, oh, it's up here. Well, that's the socket. Let's try and loosen them with that. that's not happening at all. That is well rusted on. $16, that's not good. Doesn't go that low. Very well cut. I think we're going to do damage here if we. No. I'll get me spray. That has to loosen now. There's no other way about it, I think. The centralising nut, you see, will allow. I'll move that torch there now in a second. Centralising nut will allow things just to shift around a bit to get the two shoes a bit more central. There's a tight patch in it. We do need to get that laddie moving. We don't want to go shearing them, of course. Okay, so you just loosen them. Give them a jiggle. And now we're tight patches there. Get the bloody socket off it now. Now we'll stand on the brakes to see if we have brakes, so it's nice and free there. Okay, so we can tighten that up now. It's good to stand on the brakes. What I'll do is get that centralised. You can pull the side brake is the best thing. Yeah, you can just open up the old pad, the shoes there. Okay. Same time, just before you nip them up, tighten up the shoes again. Should have done this first actually. Get everything solid in there, locked solid. Lift up the side brake a few times, wangle everything around. That'll set this then. And then you know, there we go. So that's good. Okay. That's hopefully centralised. What I'll do is I should really take off. I'll take off the other brake rod because I just want this one working, and I'll come back then when I have that off. I managed to get the other brake rod off, bit of a hold on it, but we got it. So now we can see what's happening here. That's going right down, it's not doing anything. So that needs to be either adjusted, the rod needs to be shortened, this needs to be. What we'll do there is we'll take off that rod actually can shorten a whole lot more on this side here. See here. So we'll take off the lock nut for a minute. I kind of really do need, well, not really, don't really need it. There's no ideal in the world. We'll just work out what's going on. Maybe things are just tight in that drum now. That could be a lot of it. But we're still going to have to get that drum to work regardless. 16ths. Well, we'll take off this. It'll give us a bit more. I don't know if it'll give us enough now, but yay, jeez, that's freaking tight enough now. Yeah. Give us a bit more. Don't have this tap if I had to tap more. You do get this on these tractors every now and again. But I feel it's just those shoes just need to be bedded in a bit more. But until then, we will have to be able to get her to the point where she's pulling them. Of course, probably aren't adjusted out enough anyway. So that's that there, probably as short as we can go there now. So we'll be able to get that. Put a bit of timber first for that. I only have 2 hands in this kind of 3-hand job. One to hold that up. One to work this. So we'll see how we actually get this, and it'll be a bit too short. It's not really. Just a small bit, so let it off a bit. One turn even. I want this to be as snug as possible to work those brakes. So we can afford to go back half turn. See what's going on. I think this happened on the 1.3 on that 35X as well. Had to go root. No, that's your lot. Half turn back. This still could be too short for it to actually work because the thread of rod could stop it actually from moving. Right. Still way too loose. In other words, press down the brake pedal and there's not a whole lot happening. Just doesn't feel like it's getting a good grip on it. So it's probably just going to be a matter of bedding these in. Brakes anyway. We have brakes. Yeah. That's what I think is going on here. I'm not adjusted out enough, but they're just so they're tight because they're new. I've never seen them that bad before. It's definitely working them. But that's too tight to be leaving them on. That's better. Half a kilometre down the road, half a mile down the road, it wouldn't be long bedding in. Right, so that's where I'm going to leave that. I'll keep an eye on it. It does come to the time to bring it down the road for an adjustment. So we didn't have brakes. Now we have brakes. So I'm going to go in for my dinner now. Call it an evening there. And yeah, we'll get back at it now tomorrow evening. So I managed to get that rod off, luckily enough. Clever's been out. Parts were meant to come today, but they didn't, so they'll come tomorrow. So I'll be able to get all that done. But yeah, we'll get it back on 4 wheels first. So I'll leave it there for this evening. Yesterday evening we just got the brakes put back together, the drum on, grub screws in, a preliminary adjustment done, and we put some grease in the rear wheel bearing as it was fitted. So what I'll do now is I'll give this another few darts of grease. We got the grease nipple taken out in an earlier video. And I'll tell the owner just to keep that greased as well a few times a year. Plenty of grease gone into the bearing and plenty more there as well. So that'll grease up everything. We've plenty of grease in it now. So we got some goodies here after arriving as well. So we'll go through them and see what we have. So straight away the big red box is our clutch plate, 10-inch Ferguson 20 diesel, 10-inch Ferguson 20 TVO is petrol is about 9-inch. So, yeah, so that's good. Nice part. What's that? We'll find out. Maybe it's just to keep it dry or something. I need a new bottom hose because I wasn't happy with the one that was on it. It was really stretched and soft. With the thermostat housing, they don't give you a gasket and they don't give you the blanker. So we took the blanker out. There's a clutch release bearing. There's a gearbox input shaft seal. And I got, these were just 75 cents each. So I got 2 of them for there. Just to make sure we're covered. I can make them, but I said I'd just chance to see what quality they are new. So my plan for this evening is, because this work was fairly heavy, is to put the wheel back on and get the tractor back on 4 wheels. And then maybe just to take a break, to maybe have a go at fitting that new thermostat housing. They usually, if I'm not mistaken, need a bit of filing to line up with the holes, and they need a bit of filing to get in behind the water pump cast and assembly there. So I've done a bit of filing there. I can do a bit on the front of this part. If I'm not mistaken, that's what has to be done. These are a lovely part. There's plenty of meat there, as you can see. We compare that to the original part. I think I gave back to the owner, did I? It'll be going back to him anyway. Yeah, I think I gave it back to him. No, it's here. It'll be going back to him. So the original part. See how little meat is actually on the middle original part. So this is a good replacement part when you see how much meat is here. So that'll make life easier, and of course up here the thermostat will fit a lot better in there, because the one that was on it was all right up to that stud, the threaded hole there for the stud, for the bolt. So yeah, that should by right be good. There's a few marks there. We'll just take a look at them, make sure it's flat. Oh. Quick flattening on a sheet of sandpaper anyways, always a good idea. So that's what we have. So we'll get stuck into doing something. So the first thing I just cut off a bit of gasket paper here. I must get a few G cramps, to be honest with you, they're awful handy for this. I like to just first get the holes done. A bit of tension on it. You don't want a crease in this. A crease is a guaranteed leak. And I find, as usual, when you poke down a bit of the gas paper into the hole, it nearly holds it kind of steady. Okay. It is only aluminium, so I will be running it on this sandpaper afterwards because of, just in case I burn it. Underneath is actually good, we don't need to do that at all. That's starting to show the outline there now. Because it's aluminium, I will try and cut a lot of this out rather than expecting the spanner to cut it. Okay, oh, it's enjoyable work. That's probably good enough. If in doubt, go the waste side of the line, as they say. It's like you're cutting a bit of timber. Yeah, so we battled the original part there as much as we could. It was off about 6 times, so I just, we really just needed to get a new one, and that was it. You can only do your best. Antifreeze and coolant and all that, it just does. It eats the aluminium. Interesting to see if this lines up well, because I have had issues with these and the water pumps as well. That's the aftermarket water pumps they sell. When you buy the whole unit, trying to get the pulleys lined up, you have to go cutting bolts short as well. That's usually another issue. Cut short in this tractor as well, so I had the aftermarket. well, let's say aftermarket, we don't really have a choice. We can't exactly go to Matthew Ferguson and buy a water pump for it anyway. I think Matthew Ferguson isn't even owned by itself anymore. There's an Icoalis that owns it. It's only John Deere, I think, that's nearly owned by itself. So we only have aftermarket. But some are better quality than the others. EPCO is my favourite. As far as quality, this is definitely a quality part. It's just the fitment might be a little bit questionable, based on fitting 3 or 4 of them before. Okay. Now wouldn't be some fun if we left that in there. That'd be a thermostat and a half, wouldn't it? Okay. So we'll just slap this down on a fairly flat part of the bench there. We'll just see, is everything looking like it's going to line up? Everything going to be flat. Yeah, that should be good. And same with this here, I'll have to make sure there's a few little strange marks there. Just from the cutting machine, I'd say the milling machine. They're all nearly going there now. I'd be happy enough with that. So all I'll do is just get our bolts and see that I tried in there.